Hello wonderful people and welcome back to Dark Souls 3. In the last DLC I did a video talking about the best dexterity weapon. And at the time it was very different, the stats were different, scaling were different, the game was very different from what it's now. And at the time the Crow Quills won because of its amazing damage and critical damage which got nerfed recently. But now we have a new weapon that is the king of dexterity weapons. I know you will ask, oh you're a dex fag. But yeah, you know, dex is dex, and today we're gonna be talking about the king of dexterity weapons. Once you kill that motherfucking dragon in the abyss and transpose his soul through Ludleth of Corelland, you get the frayed blade. Man, this katana is just fabulous. I just love this katana. When you first look at the damage at 60 dexterity, if you compare it with the Chaos Blade and the Crow Quills, it does a bit less damage than the Chaos Blade and a bit more than the Crow Quills. However, damage is not everything, guys. The most important thing I think is the moveset and versatility. And of course damage is very important. That's why the frayed blade is still, I think, the king of dex, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But let me first apologize about my character. He really looks like shit, right? Like, I know, because this build is originally a hollow build. That means I have to keep it that way unless I want to go to NG Plus or use a ring, sacrifice a ring. He really looks like he's been thrown in molten shit and dried out in the sun for years. Really bad. So forgive my fashion souls, but the frayed blade is the king of dexterity weapons. The first thing that screams that this weapon is dexterity weapon is that it requires 40 in dexterity. Yes, 40 in dexterity, which is not normal in all of the Soul series. That's a lot for a dex weapon. So this is a certified dexterity weapon. Well, why do I think this is the best dexterity weapon? The weapon arts. The weapon arts are just so good, bruh. So good. So the first one, you do this dark beam, you know, it does dark damage. You also have dark damage on your weapon, so it's a split damage weapon. However, the dark damage is for the weapon art. But once you do both the weapon art and you hit the sword at the same time, you can comfortably do 500 damage. Other than that, it's very easy to roll catch. So it's built in a way that once somebody escapes from you or wants to run away from you, it's pretty easy to get them with a free 300 damage from afar. And this thing, I know it seems simple, but this capability, this range capability alone gives you so much options, so much different tactics than other weapons, that this alone merits this weapon of being a king by itself. But we are still not finished. Even the second weapon art is amazingly good, because this weapon has inherent bleed like all katanas. But this one does increase drastically when you increase luck. So when you're at 10 luck, it gives you like 35, 36 bleed. Once you go 50 luck, you get 48 bleed, which is insane. And that weapon art is you hitting your katana like 5-6 times in 1 second or 2 seconds. So any shielded opponent that tries to block this and you have luck, they're gonna bleed to death. It's extremely easy to bleed without Carthus Rouge, without any of the bullshit that we had back in the day. So it's a legit bleed weapon that you can bleed people without buffing it, and it's pretty hilarious and it looks really cool. I really love this weapon art. And it's also not purely a dexterity weapon. I know I'm saying it's the best dex weapon. However, let's compare it to the Chaos Blade. So the Chaos Blade is another very good dexterity weapon. But when you compare it, it does fall flat when you compare it to the frayed blade. The reason for that, first of all, the Chaos Blade does self-damage. So every attack you do, you damage yourself. Also, it has minimal strength scaling or none strength scaling. But the frayed blade does have strength scaling. And the damage does actually go very high if you go on a high quality build. So I tried like 40 strength and 60 dexterity, something along those lines, I forgot. And the damage was... I saw a big jump in damage. So you can actually make it more damaging. You're not stuck with just the dexterity stat. You can also go higher in strength, which the Chaos Blade lacks. So now that we established that this weapon is just king, let's talk about the different builds that I tried on it. So I think there are like 3 ways you can use it. The first way is having dexterity and luck, or just dexterity. It actually works just dexterity. Pretty good, very standard. But with the luck stat, you do bleed very quickly. There is a big difference I saw from my experience. But I didn't play with that a lot. The luck stat is a side option if you want. Now the second way is to have quality build. Something along the 40 strength, 50 dex, something like that. Now with the prisoner chain or whatever that ring is called, it's pretty easy to do these builds. This ring just opened a lot of options for our builds. But another thing also, you can use a Flynn ring like I'm using here in this video. So I tried it with a Dex build and with a quality build, and actually worked better with the quality build. I felt that you can do a tremendous damage on counters, and when you get the weapon art with the weapon, when you hit the weapon and the beam of dark, it's pretty ridiculous how strong this weapon can get. Like, I think this weapon is definitely one of the best in the game. It is top tier, no doubt. So the frayed blade is the best dexterity weapon in my opinion. If you want to prove me wrong, I would love that. If you think there's a dexterity weapon that's better than the frayed blade, please let us know. And just to be clear, I think that across the whole series, it always goes back to the user, not the weapon. So you can have a shitty player using the frayed blade and a good player using like a stick or whatever, and the good player will still win. So it depends on how skilled and experienced you are in the end of the day. The weapon won't just make you win. So yeah, I just want to clear this. And another thing I need your help with is, what do you think is the best strength weapon in Dark Souls 3? You know, a lot of things changed. There's a lot of good maces now. There's a lot of good new strength weapons. And I'm just one human being, which is very difficult to know, you know, once you look at how many weapons there are in Dark Souls 3. So I think it's much better as a community to figure this out. What do you think is the best strength weapon that takes, you know, the highest spot? Lido's Great Hammer is a good contender. I really love that weapon, but it's very slow, so it has its issues too. So we can work this out as a community, and as soon as we think there is a good strength weapon, I'll do a video on that and give you credit for it. So that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you on my next video. Farewell.